Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. Zach D Productions here, and I'm here for a different kind of video for you guys. As you can see by the title, this is obviously a different kind of video, different kind of list video. So for this video, this will be if superheroes were metal bands. This is a video idea that was just kind of a sudden thing, and I thought, hey, it would be a cool idea because I think I do have some interesting choices here, and I do want to hear your opinions on it, of course. Now, I of course won't be naming every single band or superhero or anything because, well, obviously we'd be here all day. But yeah, I got about a few superheroes here that I want to talk about and which I think band resembles them the most. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first superhero up is Batman. Now, who would Batman be? This is maybe a tricky one for some people. Which metal band would be Batman? Well, I think I have a pretty solid answer. I'm going to go with Black Sabbath. Now, you would think that Iron Man would be Black Sabbath because, well, they've done their theme song after all. But I got to go with Black Sabbath for this one because, obviously, you know, Batman is one of the most notable superheroes, an instant superhero that comes to mind for a lot of people, I'm sure, when people think of superheroes. And same goes for Black Sabbath when it comes to, you know, the first metal bands that might come to mind. And they are, of course, one of the most important metal bands as well. And, you know, given Batman's just overall franchise and just the universe of Batman, all dark and gloomy, and it just kind of makes sense. You know, it kind of makes sense for Batman to be Black Sabbath. That's just my take on it, of course. So next we got Superman. Now, who would Superman be? If you guys want my opinion, I think Superman would be Judas Priest. Because like with Batman, Superman is also maybe an instant superhero that comes to mind when thinking about superheroes. And Judas Priest, obviously being one of the most notable metal bands, it just makes sense. All right, it makes sense. You know, given the style and everything, it just seems right, you know? So, yeah, Superman, I'd say, is Judas Priest. So next we got Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man is probably one of my favorites, if not maybe even my favorite superhero of all time. Yeah, obviously he's a favorite for many people, and I think I already do know my answer for Spider-Man. Spider-Man has got to be Metallica, because Spider-Man is maybe one of the biggest, if not the biggest superhero of all time. And obviously Metallica being the biggest heavy metal band of all time. I mean, come on, it makes sense. It makes sense for Spider-Man to be the Metallica of superheroes, all right? You know, it just kind of makes sense. And, you know, Metallica having kind of a fun sound to it and Spider-Man kind of just being, you know, a fun character. Yeah, it just kind of makes sense. So next we got Deadpool. Now, I really had to think about who would Deadpool be. But I do think I have a pretty solid answer for Deadpool. Deadpool, I would say, is Anthrax. And I think for the obvious reasons, because Deadpool is kind of a weird character, and Anthrax being kind of a weird thrash band, and yeah, it just kind of makes sense. You know, it kind of makes sense for Deadpool to be the Anthrax of superheroes, or at least of the Marvel universe, you know? So next we got Iron Man. Now, who would Iron Man be if they're not Black Sabbath, of course? Well, I would say that Iron Man is, ironically, Iron Maiden. Because, yeah, he's maybe not the biggest superhero of all time, but he's fairly recognizable, and Iron Maiden is fairly recognizable, so it makes sense in my opinion. So, yeah, Iron Man's got to be Iron Maiden. Next, we got the Hulk. So who would the Hulk be? I think I have a pretty solid answer. Maybe some people would say Slayer or something, but for Hulk, I got to go with Megadeth. Yeah, Megadeth, I think is a good answer because, well, Hulk being a very angry individual, and of course Dave Mustaine back in the 80s, the early days of Megadeth, he was a very angry individual, and obviously Hulk being a very angry individual as well, it just kind of adds up, you know? So, yeah, the Hulk has got to be Megadeth. So next we got Captain America. Now, I had to really think about this one as well, but I think I do have a pretty solid answer for Captain America as well. So who would Captain America be? I got to go with Pantera. And I think because obviously with Captain America's name, it just makes sense because, in my opinion, Pantera is probably one of the most American-sounding metal bands out there. So, yeah, it just kind of makes sense and it kind of adds up. So, yeah. Captain America, I'd say, is the Pantera of superheroes. So, lastly, the last character that I want to briefly talk about here, Doctor Strange. So who would Doctor Strange be? I mean, obviously I'd say Doctor Strange is a prog metal band if he was a metal band. Because obviously with the powers that he has, you know, some might say that he's the tool of superheroes or Marvel characters or whatever. But for Doctor Strange, I gotta go with Dream Theater. Obviously, due to Dream Theater's complexity and their music and everything, it just makes sense. Honestly, there's really no wrong answers here, whether you want to choose Dream Theater or Tool for Doctor Strange. But yeah, I gotta go with Dream Theater. So that's my answer for Doctor Strange. Alright, so I think I'll wrap it up there. I'll stop this list there. So those are, of course, some superheroes, both from Marvel and DC. Some superheroes that would match up with their metal bands. Like if these characters were metal bands, who would they be? This is just, of course, my opinion, of course, so let me know what you guys think. What did you think of my choices? Feel free to let me know. So with that being said, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and take care.